Buddy, it's David coming to you today from the top deck of the Celebrity Millennium cruise ship somewhere off the coast of Alaska today. It's an absolutely stunning day. The sun is out, and so I'm taking advantage of that today. You know, one of the things that I think about on these cruise ships, this is what's called a repositioning cruise. And back in your problem-solving and critical thinking class, you can think about how can a business take advantage of repositioning their assets. And so cruise companies have these repositioning cruises that will get their summer equipment, if you will, away from Alaska, because they don't do winter cruises up there for obvious reasons, into areas of the world that they will be able to use shortly. And so that's why this cruise is going from Vancouver, BC, that normally follows the Alaskan route in the summertime, down to Tokyo and eventually into Southeast Asia, because that's where they will be for the next, I don't know, 6 months or so. And the companies have done a really good job of taking these cruises and offering great prices. It's also for people who like to cruise a lot. Don't get me wrong on this one, but there aren't kids on, on these cruises because kids are obviously in school, and people who cruise a lot like these, and my wife and I like these because it gives me an opportunity to sit back. I'm going to be developing 4 new courses on this cruise, so I'm working obviously while I'm on here, but it gives me an opportunity to get quiet and read and catch up on some course development, some course reworks, and so on and so on. And so that's kind of cool. This week, Module 5 talks about, in your discussion board, talks about opportunity cost. Now, I've referenced that to a couple of you already in the journals and different other components of that, because whenever you think about strategic planning, you think about sustainability and those things, part of one of the key things you have to do is you realize you can't do everything. And personally, you can't do everything, right? So as you're building your personal strategic plan, and I'm challenging you to do that in the journals, you have to think about that. I mean, a lot of people will add things on. In the past week, you talked about complexity, and Yves Moreau talked about layering on complexity without taking things off, and you have to be able to do that, but to take things off. And so opportunity cost is important both in the professional world, but also for you personally. So be interested to see how you chat that up with your fellow classmates. And then the course project this week is getting down to the part that you really like, and that's working in some recommendations. And so you've had some strategic issues that you were presented, and you're having all kinds of alternatives that you could use, and now the rubber hits the road. You have to narrow those down. You have to keep opportunity cost in mind, and talk about what you're going to recommend, keeping in mind, again, that they can't do everything. So don't give me a laundry list of things. Also make sure that your recommendations are very, very specific. If they're too general, then that's an apple pie recommendation. Someone's going to look at that and go, yeah, right, you didn't tell me how to do it, and those types of things. So make sure that you're very, very specific on those. And in the journal this week, and again, I like these journals. I like the way that they're come around. Hopefully they're beneficial for you. But the journal this week talks about personal innovation. How do you keep yourself innovative? And that's a real challenge. I can tell you that for me. I'm not going to, let's see, I'm 56 years old. And so I do things a certain way, and I get really proud about how I do things. But you know what? I have to keep myself sharp, and you have to keep yourself sharp. And the way that you can do that is be in a constant form of innovation. And that's personal innovation. How can you make sure that you continue to challenge yourself not to do things the same old way, but to look at ways of improvement in those areas? Sometimes that's a challenge. I've said many times, I am who I am, but you know what? That's an excuse. That's not a good reason. All right? I'm getting good internet out here, which is great. So if you need me, make sure you contact me. And next time I chat with you, probably somewhere in Japan. So have a great week. Contact me if you need me. Talk to you soon.